Hi LEGO fans! If you haven't heard, there's a new Spider-Man movie coming out this summer. Spider-Man Far From Home is the sequel to the 2017 Spider-Man Homecoming. And because there's a new Spider-Man movie, there's 3 new LEGO sets. Also included in the trilogy is 76129 Hydro Man Attack and 76130 Stark Jet and Drone Attack. But today I'm going to be unboxing, speed building and reviewing set number 76128, Molten Man Battle from Spider-Man Far From Home. Technically at the time of filming, these sets haven't been released. I was lucky enough to find these in a local independent toy store. You know who you are, thanks guys. I wasn't deliberately looking for these sets, but when I saw this it really caught my eye and I thought you guys would appreciate it too. This is a 294 piece set featuring 3 minifigures. We have Mysterio, a firefighter, and it wouldn't be a Spider-Man set without Spider-Man. He looks great in this kind of black and white costume. I always enjoy the mech style builds and I couldn't resist this guy who's dripping in trans orange plastic. There are some really cool elements here, not least the 6-stud shooter. I also like those molten rock elements for the feet. They kind of remind me of the Power Miners range. Over on the back we get a closer look at what's inside and there's really not a lot of detail here. Essentially we've got a really cool large scale buildable figure with 3 minifigures fighting it. Molten Man is equipped with some weaponry in the form of this 6-stud shooter, and Spider-Man is equipped with some really cool web elements. In fact, we've got a bunch of those that you can customize to give Spider-Man different web configurations. It does look like we're going to have to do some stickering, but at least Molten Man's face looks like a really cool print. I also like the traffic lights and other street furniture that's attached to the buildable figure. Overall, this looks like a very cool set and I can't wait to get building. So let's open up the box and see what we've got inside. Here's everything that came inside the box. We've got 2 numbered bags of LEGO with lots of shiny trans orange, a 71 page instruction booklet, a blessedly small sticker sheet, and a small and very shiny bag containing white elements which was really difficult to film. I'm going to go ahead and build set number 76128 Molten Man Battle, and today this is going to be a 60-second speed build. And here's a completed Molten Man Battle. Build time was just under 48 minutes and this is a really cool looking set. I am in trans orange heaven. We're going to start out by taking a look at Molten Man. We will of course be demonstrating that 6-stud shooter and then we'll take a look at those 3 minifigures. So this is Molten Man, which is not a character I've seen before. Molten Man was originally Mark Raxton, who worked at Oscorp Industries. Working with Dr. Spencer Smythe, they invented a new liquid metallic alloy for the spider slayers from a radioactive meteor. Raxton attempted to steal it, spilt it all over his body, and the rest, as they say, is history. I'm not exactly sure how the mechanics of Molten Man work, but judging by the street signs attached to him, I'm guessing he can absorb and melt down metal objects. The buildable figure stands just under 7 inches tall and looks impressive. He has multiple points of articulation which makes him quite poseable, although some of these ball joints could really do with beefing up. Although technically a brand new set, this does give me a sense of deja vu. In fact, many of the build techniques were used in the 2009 Crystal King set from Power Miners. Although these molten rock elements look brand new, they were actually being used in Power Miners sets over 10 years ago. I'd love LEGO to bring back Power Miners, but what do you guys think? Getting back to Mark Raxton, aka Molten Man, we have a bunch of these rock elements all over the body. In fact, there are 2 different types which are really difficult to pick out in the instructions. Half of them are transparent orange with this metallic gold printing, and the other half are the same element, just lacking that metallic print. The legs are articulated using 2 ball joints at the hips, and another point of articulation at the knee. These are great for posability, but you do have to get the balance just right. The feet are decorated with those molten rock elements and some gold metallic studs. Around the back, things are a little bit more utilitarian. There is some orange detail picked out on the back of the foot, and very unusually, Molten Man has 2 left feet. Notice that the decoration on each foot is a repeat of the other. The same goes around the front. We've got the transparent orange slope on the left hand side of each foot. This kind of bothers me from a symmetry perspective, but does make the build slightly easier. The thighs are decorated with more of those transparent orange rocks, and we also get some transparent orange modified studs. On the torso we have some really cool molten dripping effects. I'm a big fan of these transparent orange aerials which are snapped to the side of the body and look like globbing rock. Other details include the hood of a car which is being absorbed into Molten Man's body. There is some stickered detailing on the chest, but this was reasonably easy to apply. We also have another one of those metallic gold rock elements. There's another one of those minus the metallic gold detail around the back. This is definitely one of those builds where you'll find most of the fancy stuff happening around the front. The face is a printed element, and this is some really sharp printing. I guess it's not easy for LEGO to print on rounded objects, and they've done a really good job here. There are even some metallic gold details which match the printed metallic rocks on the body. The head is a pretty lightweight hollow object and snaps onto an articulated point on the front of the body. It looks slightly odd from the side, but it does incorporate a small ball joint which gives you some degree of articulation. We also have some more stickers on the neck making up this molten rock detail. The arms are attached to the body using ball joints, and we have these 2 flaps at the top which come down to cover the joint. In fact, the way this was designed does a really nice job of hiding a lot of those ball joints. The arms are also articulated at the elbows, which gives you more options to overbalance him and make him fall over. The arms also incorporate these metallic orange chains. Those are super sharp elements. But if you're anything like me, you're probably more interested in the thing on the end of the arm. Yes, that's a 6-stud shooter. This is where I get to run around the studio and pick up orange studs. The mechanism is surprisingly simple and works on the power of clutch. I simply turn this and then run around and pick up studs. Let me demonstrate with a single stud. We simply lock that into place on one of these 6 chambers, and then we have this rotating piece in the middle with a flange on it. That is going to come into contact with the stud, and then it's going to simply push the stud out of place. With the stud shooter reattached to Molten Man, it's time to ruin Spider-Man's day. Well, that was surprisingly effective. Another interesting feature of Molten Man is the random stuff attached to his body. On his left arm we've got a lamppost and a street sign, and on the other side of the body we've got a couple of steel girders and a set of traffic lights complete with street sign. We don't have anything quite as exciting as a stud shooter on the other arm, but we do have this hand here which is made out of claws. We've got 3 fingers and an opposable thumb. There really is a lot to like about Molten Man. He's a cool looking character, he's got some great elements, and there are cool features like the 6-stud shooter. The only thing I don't like is how unstable this is. If you don't adjust the arms and legs just right, it falls over. For example, if I try and make a slight manipulation to the way he stands, there he's gone. Go home Molten Man, you're drunk. Whilst Molten Man might be the most impressive part of this set, we also get 3 pretty cool minifigures. We have Mysterio, a firefighter, and Spider-Man in his stealth suit. When it comes to the minifigures, the firefighter is probably a C-list celebrity compared to Spider-Man and Mysterio, but he's still quite a nice minifigure. He's wearing these black pants on here, which have some detailing here for the high visibility stripes. We've also got some metallics in there which shine nicely against the lights. We've got a high visibility vest on the torso which comes complete with a flashlight. We've got a utility belt, a pouch there, and more of those metallic stripes. And around the back, yep, more stripes, a fireman symbol or a firefighter symbol, and then the back of the utility belt which shows a walkie-talkie and whatever this stuff is. The face is pretty generic. Yeah, I don't think that's any character in particular from the movie, and there's no alternate expression there. We do have this rather nice kind of maroon red firefighter's helmet, and although this may not be one of the main characters, it's still kind of a nice minifigure to get within the set. I almost forgot to mention the firefighter's fire extinguisher, which comes with this really cool pistol element on the end here. That of course is woefully inadequate for fighting Molten Man. Moving on to the A-list minifigures, this is Quentin Beck, aka Mysterio. The man behind Mysterio doesn't actually have any superhuman abilities, but does design special effects devices and stage illusions. He's also a master hypnotist, magician, amateur chemist, and roboticist. And apparently he's really good at fighting. Although he's not equipped with superpowers, he does have a neat trick up his sleeve, or on the end of his hands more precisely. If we flick these end pieces here, we can fire water. These are really simple practical effects which push into the hands and then are released by the power of clutch. Mysterio's costume is really nicely printed and comes with a lot of gold metallic printing. I also love the way the printing continues down over the band of the pants and onto the pants themselves. That looks really sharp, nice continuation. We also have a complementary cape here, which is in a soft material I like to stroke, and then we've got some more printing around the back there, again with the complementary metallic gold and purple colours. Now the helmet is kind of strange. In real life this is made out of plexiglass and it's one way, so he can see out and you can't see in. That's why you can't see his face. We can take that off and it's just a kind of monochrome silver metallic minifigure head. But that is the awesome Mysterio. Great minifigure. And finally we have our friendly neighbourhood Spider-Man, but this time he's not in his traditional red and blue suit. He's in what I believe is going to be the stealth suit. Now if I read correctly on the internet, this is probably going to be used in a scene alongside Nick Fury within the movie, but of course it's not been released yet, so this is all speculation. But he's wearing this really nice suit here. So we've got the black pants on there and the grey torso with the black hands, and then we've got some printing on the pants here showing, I guess, you know, kind of protective gear on the outside there like an exoskeleton, and then lots of detail on the front there with a little bit of metallic. I don't know what this stuff does, it's probably just there for show. And around the back, yeah, we've got more kind of strapping here. I did see a picture online leaked of the actor wearing this suit and it does look pretty good. It looks like the suit I saw in the photo. The face here is typical Spider-Man with no expression. Really nice detailing around the mask or the eyes there. I can see some metallics there indicating maybe some kind of goggles. And then we've got these straps around the back of the head. It's a really sharp minifigure, and we also have some accessories to go with it. We have some balled up webbing which attaches to the minifigure's hands. This would be a useful way to restrain an enemy. We also have these small webs that can be attached to other Lego elements. This example of webbing can be used to make Spider-Man fly through the air. As you can see, it's got a little clip on the end. And you can also attach several of these elements together to make a very impressive action shot. Forgive the hand, it just makes things easier for you guys to see at home. In fact, we get a bunch of different web elements to recreate any scenario you might like. So that was set number 76128, Molten Man Battle, one of 3 new sets for the Spider-Man Far From Home movie. This has been a really fun set to put together and play with, even though it's a little bit temperamental when it comes to standing up. The 3 minifigures are really good additions to the set and allow you to create scenes like this. I've no idea what Molten Man's going to look like in the movie, but he makes a great buildable figure. My only criticism is those slightly weedy joints. The elements used are really cool, and with those molten rock elements, the trans orange chains, the dripping molten rock from the chest, and that 6-stud shooter, you really can't go wrong. Whilst I may not be the world's biggest fan of superhero movies, this is a really cool set. For a set with less than 300 pieces, I think the designers have done a great job here. And if you don't like this set, just think what you could do with all of that transparent orange. I could imagine buying a dozen of these and building my own custom volcano. And then I could get a big black leather chair and a white pussycat. But I digress. I really hope you enjoyed this Spider-Man Far From Home unboxing, speed build and review video. If you did, my name's Jeremy Herbert and feel free to drop me a like. If you didn't, my name's Jangbricks. And on that bombshell, thanks a million for checking out today's review, stay safe, and we'll see you on the next build video.